Hello everyone, it's Marcia from One Scrap at a Time, and I'm back today with another JustNick Studios layout for you. This week, JustNick Studios partnered with PageMaps, and so we were each assigned a different PageMap sketch to work with. So the one I'm working with, I had in the preview, has 3 photos, and half of the layout is it could be a different pattern paper, but I chose to do a cut file on that side of the layout, and the cut file I'm using is called Ride the Wave, and I like this one because it reminds me of an American flag waving in the wind, and my original intent was just to leave it red and white, but I thought that was kind of boring, and so I'm adding some blue in the negative space here. So the blue pattern paper that I'm using here has some white stars in it, so that goes along with the American flag that I'm trying to get here. So the layout, the photos that I'm using on this layout were taken at Patriots Point on the USS Yorktown. So my husband and son loved crawling all over this aircraft carrier, and so those are the photos that I'm using. So with the patriotic photos, I wanted to go with the patriotic papers here on the layout. So I'm using some Simple Stories Stars and Stripes. It's from a couple years ago, but that was a simple set, and so that means that there weren't a lot of embellishments that went with it. That was basically just the papers and some stickers. So I went back and looked through other patriotic collections that I had, and I had one from Pebbles, and the Pebbles collection had some die-cut F-mirror pieces. So what I did is I went and pulled out some of those die-cut F-mirror pieces, and I also pulled out some journaling cards that I had. And the journaling cards that I had, I actually cut in half, and I made these pennant flags out of them. So you can see me gluing them down here now. So that wasn't pattern paper. That some of them were pattern paper, I guess, from the Simple Story set, but some of them there too were the Pebbles journal cards. So this is a good way to use up those journal cards if you're not into Project Life layouts. Before I adhere these photos down, I wanted to do some machine stitching. So there's a little break in the video there where I went off and I did some machine stitching. I wanted to emphasize the cut file, the waves. So I stitched on the red paper around the negative openings there where you would see the white. And it adds some texture. It's hard to see here, but you'll see it closer in the close-ups. So I'm adhering the photos down, putting some foam tape underneath, and I put some foam tape underneath that circle die cut made in the USA. So I wanted to do some stamping on here because the sketch had it, and I thought that's a cool idea. So I pulled out my Simple Stories roller stamp and stamped some stars on there with some stays on. And I'm putting on some stickers from the Stars and Stripes kit. I really don't use stickers much in my layouts. I prefer the die cuts, F-mirror pieces much better. It's kind of a pain to use a sticker when you want to add some dimension and put some foam tape on it, because then you have to pull out your baby powder and make it not sticky in places. So, and I actually do that here in the video in just a little bit. You'll see me adhering down that scallop sticker underneath my photo, And then I wanted to add the banner that's also there on that sticker sheet, and put some dimension behind the banner so that it would stand out. And so the baby powder is kind of a pain to have to dig out to work with. I much prefer the die-cut ephemera pieces. So what you see me here doing now is just kind of roughing up the edges so that it doesn't lay exactly flat. I like my layouts to have some dimension. So I often will rough up the edges, tear the edges sometimes, just so that it doesn't look flat. So there you see me tearing the sides of the paper there. And you'll see that better in the close-up detail images too. So we're going to go ahead and play with some more of the embellishments here, and stick on some more pieces. I did do some journaling on this layout. I did that on a computer and printed it onto some white cardstock and then cut it into strips. And I'll glue those down on here in just a minute. So in this layout, you see me using a new glue bottle. It's called Fine Line, and it has this long needle on the end of the glue bottle for it's for more detailed gluing down, like these strips, these journal strips. And I found this bottle on Amazon. It's called Fine Line, and it's really nice for the detailed gluing. So if you want to look it up, I really like it. I'm glad I got it. Very much worthwhile. So I'm adding on a few more stickers here, seeing what else I can do. I'm thinking that I need more words. Maybe I'm going to add a sticker pennant flag up by the Made in the USA. Adding the banner on to later, some star stickers. Just kind of filling up some of that white space. White space sometimes scares me, so I have to fill it up. I did have a little oops here. If you've noticed, in the wave cut file there should be some blue pattern paper behind a section of it right above my photos, and I was able to fix this after I had finished filming. I hadn't noticed it right away until I went to photograph it, but I was able to put stick a piece of pattern paper behind there. Alright, so we're coming to the end of my video here. I want to thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Please give it a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed it. I guess that's all I have. There are some close-up shots coming here, so stay tuned. Thanks for stopping by again. Bye-bye.